In this exercise, your job is to look at the underlined verb in each sentence and decide whether it's being used as a transitive verb, an intransitive verb, or a linking verb. Let's start with the first sentence. The author Earl Stanley Gardner wrote a number of books using the pen name A.A. Fair. Now in this sentence, the verb wrote is underlined. In order to determine whether it's a transitive verb, an intransitive verb, or a linking verb, you need to decide whether it's a verb of action or a verb of being. And if it's a verb of action, whether there is something in the sentence which receives the action of the verb. Well, in this case, wrote is being used as a verb of action. It is telling us something that the author Earl Stanley Gardner did. And is there anything in the sentence which receives the action of the verb wrote? That is, does the sentence tell us something that Earl Stanley Gardner wrote? The answer is yes. There is something that receives the action of the verb in this sentence. It's the word number. Or to give the entire phrase, it's a number of books. That's what he wrote. He wrote a number of books. And therefore, there is an object that's receiving the action of the verb. The verb wrote, its action flows through to a number of books. Therefore, wrote is being used as a transitive verb. Because remember, only a transitive verb has an object which follows it, which receives the action of the verb. Let's look at the next example. Upon closer examination, several spokes of the bicycle's rear wheel appeared broken. In this sentence, the verb appeared is underlined. Let's begin by asking, what's the subject of the verb appeared? The answer is the word spokes. Don't be misled by the fact that several words come between the word spokes and the word appeared. It's the spokes that appeared broken. What kind of spokes? The spokes of the bicycle's rear wheel. So that prepositional phrase, of the bicycle's rear wheel, simply modifies or gives more information about the spokes. That's not where the actual subject of the verb appears. The subject is spokes. So the spokes appeared broken. Now in this case, is appeared being used as a verb of action or a verb of being? Well, it's being used as a verb of being because it's not telling us something that the spokes did, it's telling us something that the spokes were. Namely, they were broken. The word appeared is being used almost as the equivalent of the verb to be, and the two things are being linked. The spokes, which is the subject of the verb appeared, and the word broken, which comes after the verb, those two things are being linked, and we're being told that the spokes were broken. What comes before and after the verb are being equated in this sentence, so appeared is being used as a linking verb. Our next example. Ivan and Sasha danced together until 2 o'clock, when the band finally stopped playing. Now in this sentence, the word danced is underlined, so that's the verb that we want to focus on. What's the subject of the verb danced? The answer is Ivan and Sasha. Remember that the subject of a verb may be compound. That is, it may be two nouns that are joined by a word like and. So Ivan and Sasha are the subject of the verb danced. Now, does the verb danced here have an object which receives the action of the dancing? That is, are we being told something that Ivan and Sasha danced? Not in this sentence. We're being told that they danced together. That tells us how they danced. And we're being told that they danced together until 2 o'clock, which is a little more information about how they danced. The word together is an adverb because it gives more information about or modifies the verb danced. It tells us how they danced. And until 2 o'clock is a prepositional phrase that also gives us more information about how they danced. Neither one, however, is an object, and neither one is being linked to Ivan and Sasha. Neither one tells us what Ivan and Sasha were. Therefore, the verb danced, in this case, doesn't have an object, and it's not being used as a linking verb. It is an intransitive verb. Remember that an intransitive verb is a verb of action that doesn't have an object receiving the action, and that's the case in this sentence. The verb danced is being used here as an intransitive verb. Notice, by the way, that the verb danced can be used as a transitive verb. You could imagine a sentence in which there is an object receiving the action of the verb danced. For example, you could say, Ivan and Sasha danced the polka. In that sentence, the word polka would be receiving the action of the verb danced. It would be telling us what they danced. And we would have transformed the verb danced from an intransitive verb to a transitive verb, because there would be an object receiving the action of the verb. There is no such object in this sentence, and therefore the correct answer for this sentence in your exercise is intransitive. The next sentence. Even by modern engineering standards, the pyramids of Egypt remain an incredible achievement. The verb remain is underlined. What's the subject of the verb remain? What remain an incredible achievement? The answer is pyramids. Once again, the fact that some other words come between the subject and the verb shouldn't confuse you. It's not Egypt that remains an incredible achievement. It's the pyramids that remain an incredible achievement. Now, what about the words that follow remain? How do those relate back to the verb? Are they the object of the verb? That is, do they receive the action of the verb? Or do they play some other role? Well, in this case, remain is not a verb of action, but rather a verb of being. And therefore, you can probably anticipate that it's being used as a linking verb, because that's how verbs of being are used. And sure enough, what follows the verb remain is an incredible achievement. These words explain what the pyramids of Egypt are. They are an incredible achievement. So what comes before and after the verb in this sentence, those two things are being equated. We're being told that they are the same as one another. And that makes the verb remain a linking verb. Our next example. Working with extreme care, the bomb squad removed the suspicious package. In this sentence, the verb removed has been underlined, and the subject of the verb is the bomb squad, or specifically the word squad. Now, what did the bomb squad remove? Is there an object for the action of this verb? Yes, there is. The object is the noun package, or to give the complete phrase, the suspicious package. So the package is receiving the action of the verb removed. It's telling us what they removed, and therefore package is the object of the transitive verb in this sentence. So for this last example in the exercise, the verb is being used as a transitive verb. Did you get all 5 of these questions right? I hope so. Let's turn now to Lesson 2.